Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in today. Thank you so much for coming back. You are listening to Your Kingdom Woman podcast. I am your host, Monica, aka Momo, aka Mrs. Anderson. I am so grateful you are back today. And I just want to say a huge thank you to every single one of you for tuning in last week. Well, 2 weeks ago now, when I had my husband come on the show. And we thank you so much for your amazing feedback that we got, and we don't take it lightly. We know that life is done in community, so being able to read your reviews on what you thought about the podcast and really the content that we were discussing gave us courage and more motivation, maybe my husband a little bit more, right? To come back. I don't think he was planning on coming back, but I'm so glad because I kept showing him all the reviews that were coming in. I'm like, okay, babe, look, people want to see you more. So rest assured that my husband will be back by the next episode. Okay, so our topic today, we are continuing on the trend of obedience. And today's topic is all about trust and obey. Okay, so more to come. I'll see you soon. All right, everyone. So thank you so much once more for joining me. And I am going to read out our focus verse for today, verses actually. So it's found in Deuteronomy 28, chapters 1 through 14. And I will actually be reading from my new Bible, the Woman's Study Bible, which I'm so excited to be able to invest in because let me tell you, my other Bible was screaming, and every time I opened it, I felt so bad that it was breaking apart. I was just like, Lord, please forgive me. I need to invest in a new Bible. And I did, and I'm so glad I did that. Now, I love that this chapter, like literally the top of it says, blessings for obedience. Okay? And this same chapter has both blessings for obedience and then curses for obedience. However, my focus today is to continue to encourage you guys in knowing what is it that I can grasp in this obedience. And I'm sure some of you are like, Monica, you're so big on this obedience thing. What is it about? What is it that I'm doing differently that you're doing that I'm not where I want to be or where I think I should be in my life? Friends, it's all in our obedience to the Lord. The Bible says, you shall judge them by their fruits. So on the outside, I can say or do and look however way I want to look, but inside my heart, I cannot fool God. Period. That's it. I cannot fool God of saying, this is what I'm doing, but this is what I want. Because the Lord knows my heart. So obedience means trusting. I'm trusting Him more and more, day by day, night by night. No matter what the battle looks like, no matter what my current situation looks like in life, it takes me trusting the Lord that He got me, right? It takes me delighting in the Lord and knowing that He got me. So before I jump into the experiences I've had for the past year or so and change really, and how I have seen the Lord move in me being obedient and trusting what He said to me, I would love to spend some time reading out the verses in this chapter. So again, if you have your Bible, you want to follow along, please do. I am reading in the NIV version, and verse 1 says, if you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all His commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on earth. So already it says, if we obey, then we are put in a different position than anybody else. All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God. So these include, now verse 3, you will be blessed in the city and blessed in the country. Verse 4, the fruit of your womb will be blessed, and the crops of your land, and the young of your livestock, the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. Verse 5, your basket and your kneading through will be blessed. 6, you will be blessed when you come in and blessed when you go out. How many of us want to be blessed going in and blessed going out? I know I certainly do. Amen. Verse 7, the Lord will grant that the enemies who rise up against you will be defeated before you. So friends, let me tell you something. When you are obedient to Christ, 1,000 will rise up and fall against you, but guess what? Nothing will touch you because you are a child of God, honey. Okay? They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in 7. Verse 8, the Lord will send a blessing on your barns and on everything you put your hand to. The Lord your God will bless you in the land he is giving you. The Lord will establish you as his holy people, as he promised you on oath. If you keep the commands of the Lord your God and walk in obedience to him. Verse 10, then all the peoples on earth will see that you are called by name, by the name of the Lord, and they will fear you. The Lord will grant you abundant prosperity in the land he swore to your ancestors to give you. Verse 12, the Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. Your obedience is not in vain, friends. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. Because guess what? The Lord is the one that's providing for you. Verse 13, the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. If you pay attention to the commands of the Lord your God that I give you this day and carefully follow them, you will always be at the top, never at the bottom. Verse 14, do not turn aside from any of the commands I give you today, to the right or to the left, following other gods and serving them. End quote. My God, isn't that amazing? When we are trusting and obeying the Lord, there's no ifs and buts. We are to just continue to press in. I mean, how do we begin to obey and trust someone if we're not spending time with him? It's a personal relationship. So the more time you cultivate to make time to spend with your Abba Father, with time, the easier it will become to trust him more, to lean on him more, to continue to abide with him. Trust me, it takes time, and our journeys are always different. So we cannot compare. I can't compare my journey to my husband's journey, to my other family members' journey, or even my friends' journeys, because we all encounter him at different times in our lives. So I can only speak to my experience, to what the Lord has done for me. You know what I mean? So good. So I jotted down some notes here on my phone just so I can be in alignment with what it is that I actually want to share with you guys, and what trusting and obeying looks like for me, and what it has looked like in this past year and change. Okay. So first of all, I want to take you guys back to summer of 2022. And at this point, my husband and I were just talking. We're just talking as friends, and we're like, okay, what's going on? And it was around this time I started to hear promptings of the Lord saying, prepare, prepare, prepare. So I'm like, okay, what exactly am I preparing for? you know? So I start to pray more. I start to try to engage his word more. Say, okay, all I'm hearing is the word prepare, but I honestly don't know what I'm hearing. What am I preparing for? And by June, I believe, I received a gift from my sister who's in South Africa. Shout out Carol and Ivoni in South Africa, okay? Miss y'all. I received a gift, a chitenge gift, and the chitenge is a wrap that we use in my culture. We use it for clothing, to carry babies. We use it for so many different things, so just to wear as fashion or just regular. So, and I'll put up a photo of a dress that actually got made originally, because that was the dress. In that moment when the clothes arrived, I was like, oh, okay, God. I heard then saying, make your engagement dress. And I was like, okay. Right? So this is about May, June, I believe. I got that dress. And then by July, someone I know was traveling back home. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. Everything is working out. Right? I was like, I sent her the material to get me a dress made and a shirt for a guy. And mind you, I was not even making the shirt in mind with my husband now, because then, like I said, we were just talking as friends. We're just hanging out. You know what I mean? So I am just there like, okay. I say, please get me this dress made. And she took it and everything, spoke to the person back home, got the dress made. She came back, I believe, in August. Between July and August, she comes back. And I try on the dress, and I was just like, oh my God, it was super, super heavy, first of all. Could barely walk in it, and super tight. It was beautifully made, but it was just not, it didn't fit my body the right way that it should have been. And I hated the shirt. I hated the shirt. I was just like, okay, maybe this is not it. And of course, with that comes with, Lord, did I hear you correctly? Did I hear you correctly? So I went through this hustle of trying to, coordinate with the lady. I'm like, am I going to get a refund? She's like, no, we don't do refunds. I'm like, okay, so I need you to do something, because this dress is not it. It's just not it. So ended up arranging, and God is so good. And this is what I'm saying. When we're trusting and obeying, even when it seems like something throws you off the loop, it seems like something is not working, He always makes it work. And that's why I cannot worry. And that's why I gave up worrying and I've given up living in fear, because I'm like, why should I fear? I could spend time in fear, or I could spend time in faith and building up my faith. So I'm not afraid of what tomorrow brings, because guess what? I know who holds my tomorrow, right? I know who holds my tomorrow. So if you know who holds your tomorrow, why are you living in fear? Why are you constantly living in anxiety? We don't have to. We don't have to do that. So by now, August comes. I hear the Lord, okay, start trying on wedding dresses. Excuse me, did I hear that right? Now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the other dress that was supposed to be an engagement dress. And now I hear the Lord saying, go try on wedding dresses. I said, okay. So here I am. I make several appointments for David's bridal. I'm like, I'm just going to try on and see what works for my shape, right? My body shape. And so I go with a few of my girlfriends. I'm trying on dresses and I was dreading it. I went on a day that was just not a good day, okay? Because right after my appointment in the morning, I had a funeral to attend. It was just like, ugh. I was like, okay, God, I don't know what's happening. So that was that. It was not a good experience. I mean, it was nice to go because I could see everything I was trying on really gave me an idea of what I didn't want. So everything I tried on in that moment was body shaped to what I've always worn in my life, right? You know, the tight, shapely. And I was just like, yeah, this is not even giving wedding dress. Like, yes, I'm trying on white dresses, but none of them gave me this is wedding shopping dress for you. And none of the people that were helping me were like, oh, let's try this style, maybe that style. They just gave me whatever one style I picked. They just brought other things along those styles too. So I was just like, yeah, left feeling kind of disappointed. But at the same time, I was like, you know what, Lord, whatever. I surrender it to you. Went on about my day. Fast forward to now, I want to say October. Another friend of mine was traveling back home. So I say, hey, we coordinated. Now I gave her the old dress, the original dress for engagement dress, right? Gave her that dress, took it back home, and was able to exchange it. The lady was so gracious enough to make me a different dress, got me new material, which was really great, and made me something that actually was me. Nothing padded inside. It was just straight on, just regular material. And I'll show you guys a picture again because that's the dress I ended up using for the engagement photo shoot I did with my husband, which was spectacular. So that happens. And then I remember by November, I'm not sure what transpired overnight. It literally was like overnight. Woke up one day in ending October into November, and we started talking about rings. Started talking about engagement, and I was just like, okay, I guess this is going to happen. Mind you, by then I already have all the dress. So by the time we're talking about finalizing engagement and everything, I already had my engagement dress, y'all. Just saying. Okay. Anyway, that's enough about that. There is something else I want to share with y'all. When the Lord is speaking to us, be diligent not to run to anybody and everybody to share what the Lord is saying. Yes, people will be happy for you, but at the same time, you got naysayers out here. Naysayers will say things to you that they think they're helping you to be cautious, helping you to be wise. But if you're hearing from God Himself and you're hearing confirmation from other people around you, just be careful with the other voices that you are allowing in your mind to come in. So say less is all I can advise you, is all I can say. When you have a lot happening, when the Lord is doing a lot in your life, know what kind of audiences you are in and know when to say less. Again, naysayers are out here and their voices are loud, okay? Also, with praying for that discernment, I remember with I remember one day as we were talking about the wedding things, I brought it up to my husband. I felt a prompting. The Lord was like, okay, Monica, no alcohol at your wedding. And I was just like, okay. It didn't really even faze me. And so my husband came and told me the same thing. He was just like, yeah, babe, I don't think we need to have alcohol at the wedding. And I was just like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I felt. But again, when I did share that news with other people, guess what? Oh, what kind of wedding do you have without alcohol? And I'm just like, well, again, I'm going based on what I am hearing from the Lord. So as small as that is, as big as that may be to you, because you feel like alcohol makes a party, it's on you. But for me and my husband, we heard otherwise. And when we shared it with certain people, some people were like, oh yeah, absolutely not. And some people were on defense with it. But I'm like, well, at the end of the day, it's our wedding. It's what we want. So therefore, we are not going to have that, right? So when you know you are being obedient to God, you don't have to conform to what people are saying to you just so you can people please. When you know that the Lord is saying to you, this is the direction you should go in, don't let other people's opinions tell you otherwise. Because you will get lost and you will say, God, oh, I guess that wasn't you. But no, you left the path that he was actually telling you to go in and you didn't go in, right? This is a good one. Okay, so right after my wedding, literally that week, right after the wedding happened, the weekend, and then going into the week, I heard the Lord say, donate your wedding dress. And I was just like, okay. Again, this goes back to obedience, y'all. And my wedding dress was one of the things that I truly invested in, that I had saved up money for, where I knew that that was the one thing I wanted to do for myself. And I invested, getting the dress and the belt and the veil and the crown. So I was really proud of it. All right, you see that? That is my wedding dress. And I am about to donate it. Yep. Listen, when the Lord speaks, you just gotta obey. So I'm out here trusting the Lord and obeying. And right after I got married, a few days later, the Lord was like, okay, Monica, donate your wedding dress. So I am here to do just that. And so hearing the Lord say, give it away, honestly, it wasn't even something that was a fight for me to do, because I was like, okay, you know what? This just means I'm making room for something else. And me being able to donate this dress back to the person that was making alterations on it, that's the person I ended up giving it back to. It was just like an incredible feeling. I was like, okay, Lord, I'm letting go, giving it to you. It is all yours. Take it. I don't know if I'll ever need it again. Because the week that I got married, the Lord said I need to bring it back and donate it to you. So I am here to leave it for good.
What?
Another thing here that I have is fighting spiritual warfare and thinking I need just anyone to lay their hands on me because they just finished preaching. But God then tells me she's not it. And I believe it was ending October or November of last year, where I was just like really like diving in, everything else is happening and I'm hearing the Lord and I'm fighting this spiritual warfare, y'all. And I'm just like, okay, I need someone to lay hands on me. I need someone to lay hands on me. I need deliverance. And the Lord really did his mighty work. I literally was delivered at my old apartment in that bedroom over and over and over again, because I don't know if any of you have heard of Koinonia, Joshua Selman's ministry. My God. Okay. If you are not on it, I would definitely highly encourage you to definitely take some time and listen. Yes, his sermons are literally 2 hours long. If you're listening to the worship and the testimonies, it's about 4 hours long. So yes, it's very long. However, there are set there are just certain messages in there that literally truly delivered me. I would sit there and listen and then pray along to the promptings and whatnot. And then I remember going to a fall women's conference. So while I'm in there, I'm praying for guidance, for direction, to see where the Lord takes me. And the speaker, I was like, oh, maybe I can ask her to pray for me, right? And we're singing, worshiping. I'm at the altar. I'm on the floor, and I get this vision from the Lord. I can see that the Lord has the sword of the Spirit literally across on my back. And I pray and I pray, and I got up. So later on, I see this lady, because I'm still like, oh, maybe I can ask her to pray for me. So I approach her. I'm like, hey, thank you for the word. As I was saying, we were worshiping. This is the vision I saw. She's just like, yeah. I saw you. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then her attention just turns around. The Lord was like, that's not her. Don't even be mad. Don't even be disappointed. Just walk away. And I was like, okay, have a great day. And I walked away. I remember connecting later that month with some of the ladies from my church. I reached out to one of my sisters and said, hey, I need support. I need your prayers. I said, do you know anyone who does deliverance prayers? She's like, well, I don't know. The people I know who actually do deliverance prayers are not in New York City. However, I know a set number of women who do pray. And so, my God, did they bless me. They came to my home. And one of the ladies kept saying, this is the first. And I'm telling you, last year was a lot of firsts for me, and a lot of firsts that spilled through into 2023, because that's what favor looks like. When favor happens, when something breaks, it comes with speed. It comes with favor from other people who will say, I've never done this before, but this is what we are going to do. Right? This is what we are going to do. So they prayed for me. Oh my gosh, anointed me. I was crying. I was on the floor. I was just so honored that they took their time out on their busy Saturday morning to come and do what they did for me. Just so grateful. So let me tell y'all, God is so awesome. Continue to trust and obey him, because listen, the rewards are endless. And if you have the opportunity, please take time and study Deuteronomy 28. And I want you to read the whole chapter, because it tells you both the benefits and it tells you the curses of disobedience if you disobey. Okay? So the last thing I have here as we wrap up is, I will not allow anything or anyone to talk me out of complete obedience to God. And that's my encouragement for you today. Do not allow anybody or anything to talk you out of complete obedience from God. Okay? And recently I reread the book called What Happens to Women When They Say Yes to God. And this book is all about radical obedience, y'all. It's all about that radical obedience. I'll put it in my notes so you guys can look it up, by Lysa Terkuerst. This book blessed me. This book is the book that gave me the nudges and the courage to go back to school, to apply for scholarships, to apply for different things that I found myself applying for that I never thought I could, okay? But remember, your obedience is right back to the Lord, and in Him, you will see many, many, many things come to pass. I didn't even touch on everything that the Lord brought to pass for me, but in due season. This is what I was led to share with you guys, and I pray that you were blessed. So, thank you so, so much for taking the time to stop by today. You are listening to You Are Kingdom Woman podcast. I am your girl, Monica, aka Momo, aka Mrs. Anderson. Until next time, God bless you.